Whoa, look at this. This beauty is Rhododendron Tinkerbird, which is one of the few highly perfumed varieties of rhododendron, which we've had here in this border just by our front window. There we are. So when we're stood at the kitchen sink, I say we, if my beloved is stood at the kitchen sink, we get to see this, and it's a beauty, but it's starting to get a bit kind of leggy and a bit bare underneath. And we think it's time for a serious prune. We're thinking of cutting it right back down to the stumps in the core of the plant there, to encourage a new start, a new dome of growth from the middle. It's a bit risky, but I've seen it done with other rhododendrons and they've responded really well. So we're going to give this just another week or two to finish flowering, and then we'll fast forward and rejoin you straight after the advert for the big prune. Stick with us. Wow, now this is our favourite rhododendron. It's one called Tinkerbird, which is one of the few that's got a lovely perfume to it. And a month ago, this was smothered in glorious kind of pale pink perfumed flowers. But as you can see, it's starting to look a bit bedraggled, and behind the new growth, there's a lot of old woody stems, which kind of we can see through there, and we don't want to get him too tall. So we're going to do something which is a little bit risky, but we're pretty confident that it's going to work, and that is to cut this right back to a stump. There's a big rhododendron down the road from us here. I'll stick a picture in just now, which the proud owners of that lovely rhododendron cut it right back down to a short stump probably about 5 years ago, and we've watched it grow back really, really nice and bushy ever since. So we're hoping that this is going to do the same. Are we ready for this? Yeah? Okay, well here we go. So, now if you come in and have a little close look here, you can see that come and have a little close look down here, you can see that there are some little green shoots here. We did cut back some little branches a couple of years ago to see whether they will shoot. So we're not going to cut them back, because it's good to have a little bit of green leaf that will be photosynthesizing and help to get some energy to the main crown of the plant. But give me a couple of minutes now and I'll get this cut right back, and then you can have a look at the end result. Ooh, as you can see, it was a fairly major prune, and although they're not clearly visible, we're confident that there's lots of dormant buds in there, that now that we've taken away kind of the growth tip, all that energy that was going to all those hundreds of little kind of leaves and buds will now be concentrated on those stems there.
Fingers crossed.
Fingers crossed, yeah. As a little example, here's a branch that we cut back last year. I don't know if you can come in any closer to have a little look. So you can see I cut the end of that branch off there. It was going too far across, and all these little shoots have started to grow out now from that stem in the space of a year. So we're hoping by this time next year we'll have a little low dome of fresh shoots. We might lose our flowers for a year, so next year we may not get so many flowers, but I'm pretty confident, 80% confident, that we'll, by the year after, we'll have a nice little dome of foliage and some lovely perfumed flowers. What will help it, I hear you ask? Well, rhododendrons like ericaceous fertilizer, acid fertilizer. So I'm going to mix up some of that and pour that on, so that, and we're doing this in middle of May, so just after it's finished flowering, and that stage of the season after flowering is when the plant will naturally want to put on new growth. So we're combining this prune timing wise with the exact moment when it wants to put on new growth, and we're saying, look, rather than putting on more new growth up here, let's get some new growth from the base again, and that bit of fertilizer should help. Any questions, any comments, any criticisms even? We'd love to hear from you and your experience, and we can go on this gardening journey together with your old mate Rog.